Let me share this thing for now. This turns out to be different.
Can you do
Yeah. Yeah, what's up?
unless it comes out of here? If it comes out of here, then I can just plug in a mic and make it really. There are speakers here, but what is speakers here? Connecté quoi ça? C'est l'avenir. Is that fine?
What do you want?
We haven't looked into the
Ikuveza la sekwenze nakule venue ngale.
Sanbonan. Can you hear me talking?
Seyithathile power wena usenayo. Honorable members, officials of our government, would want to start with this I was about to say with this hearing. I don't know, this budget speech. So, honorable members, may we observe a moment of silence, please. KZN, all officials of our government, the friends from media, as well as the public at large. Honorable members, this budget debate is conducted through the hybrid means, and the normal standing rules of the legislature will apply to the debate. On the issue of connectivity, before we proceed to the budget debate, I must reiterate the ruling of the Speaker which relates to connectivity problems. The Speaker has ruled that the following measures will be adopted to try and assist members who may not be able to participate in the debate due to connectivity challenges. If a member has problems with connectivity and is unable to deliver his or her speech, the presiding officer will call the next speaker on the speaker's list so as to not to delay the proceedings. If the member regains connectivity before a response to the debate has commenced, the presiding officer will be flexible and allow the affected member to deliver his or her speech with the proviso that the member reconnects to the sitting prior to the commencement of the response to the debate. I think that rule is very clear to all of us. Secondly, we request that a member who is scheduled to participate in a debate should arrange for a fellow party member to be on standby to read the member's speech into the recording should the need arise. The presiding officer will allow a fellow party member to read out the speech on behalf of a member who is unable to deliver his or her speech. If all interventions fail and a member is still unable to deliver his or her speech and has not managed to arrange for a fellow party member or a whip to deliver the speech on his or her behalf, that speech will unfortunately not form part of the official record of the proceedings. In short, if members have connectivity problems, the presiding officers will follow the above guidance to try and assist them. We trust that this is in order. Lastly, members who are not actively part of a debate are reminded to mute their microphones and switch off their cameras at all times. Also, members are requested to take all reasonable measures to reduce any background noises that may interfere with the broadcasting of the proceedings. Honorable members, I further wish to confirm that the Budget Report 2022-2023 of the Portfolio Committee on COGTA has been tabled in terms of the standing rules. We will now proceed with the matters on the agenda, being the debate on vote number 11. Then I use this opportunity to invite the Honorable MEC for COGTA in KZN, Honorable Hlomuka, to present his budget speech, and he is allocated 45 minutes. Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Greetings to your good self. Greetings to all honorable members of the legislature, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Premier Zigalala, members of legislature, Chief Whip. Special welcome to the Zulu royal family. Inkosi Kzncogta, the chair of the Provincial House of the Traditional Leaders, Kzncogta, the chairperson of SALCA, mayors and councillors of the municipalities, head of departments and all senior officials of government, the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Chair, the theme of today, turning the corner in KZN municipalities, fostering peaceful, sustainable communities through the delivery of basic services. Mr. Chairperson, we stand in front of you today before the people of KwaZulu-Natal to present this budget policy statement, Vote 11, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. As proud servant of our people, we do so proud of our achievement, but also equally mindful of the challenges that will remain and the task that lies ahead. Today, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Chair, is the 10th of May, marks exactly 20 years since the inauguration of the first democratic elected president, Utata Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, we recall that on the historical occasion, Tata Rolihlahla Mandela said, open quote, we pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuous budget of poverty, suffering, gender, and other form of discrimination, close quote. We therefore stand here recommitting ourselves to the same promises that working together with institutions of local government and traditional affairs, we shall strive, open quote, turn the corner in KZN municipalities and traditional communities, fostering peaceful and sustainable communities through the delivery of quality basic services. Mr. Chairperson, it is now the third time that we present this budget speech during the global pandemic. By now, COVID-19 has fully transformed the way we conduct business as a department, which support municipalities and traditional institutions. I wish to assure this august House that despite these daily challenges caused by this pandemic, and most recently by the catastrophic flood we have seen in KZN, we are advancing service delivery as per our mandate while we remain subject to robust parliamentary oversight. Mr. Chairperson, this budget speech is primarily the report on the progress made in the implementation of the commitment we've made in this august House and the people of KwaZulu-Natal a year ago. It is also an occasion present not only to set a tangible deliverable for 2022-2023, but a vision for local government and the traditional institution in this province. To underscore this point, Chair, we have actively sought public input for this speech via various social platforms, some of which we will acknowledge during this presentation. Today, we thus present the long-term plan for the time we have begin to rebuild post-COVID-19 and after the latest devastated floods, and realize our ultimate goals of the better local government, one for foster peaceful, sustainable communities through the delivery of basic services. As I say this, Chairperson, I also need to register the disclaimer that in this context of the recent floods and the request to the provincial government department to reprioritize their budget to enable the necessary recovery to occur, our own 2022-2023 budget, with guidance from the provincial treasurer, may need to undergo the adjustment, which may then also result in adjustment in our respective annual performance plan. KZN floods, where would we stand as a provincial government? Honorable members, we are only just recovering from the most devastating floods to hit KZN in a generation. The scale of devastation is difficult to comprehend. 448 lives lost and 48 people still, 63 people still unaccountable for, and 40,000 lives severely disrupted, 4,983 homes completely destroyed, 8,310 homes partially destroyed, and 25 billion in in damage in both public and private infrastructure across the land of the the province. Mr. Chairperson, at this very point of my address, I wish us to take this solemn moment and pause to remember all those who perished during these floods, and we send our sincere condolences to the bereaved families. We spare our prayerful thought for surviving victims, and we salute the men and women, both in uniform and our society in general, for their selfless support, search, rescue, recovery, relief, and humanitarian intervention in our community during this difficult time. I request that we just bow and remember. Amen. As a coordinating department, we at COGTA KZN, we've been at the forefront to effort to mitigate the impact of floods in our communities and businesses with the timely assistance from the highest office in land, including the President and the various ministers who have promptly visited the province, who have managed to mobilize large stock of resources for both emergency relief and recovery that soon follow, with the National Cabinet declaration as the national state of disaster and private sector stepping out to the task of assisting the immediate relief. We have assembled the significant resources, some of which were already being deployed on the ground to help those most need of assistance: water tankers, emergency shelters, food parcel, or technical and medical assistance. All of these are being rolled out in the affected communities on the scale previously unseen. While we continue to restore the most essential services, including water and electricity, to all affected communities, we carry on the task of assessing the damage to prepare a full reconstruction of all infrastructure that has been destroyed in order to ensure that the funds earmarked for recovery indeed reach their beneficiary, while monitoring and all expenditure with utmost care. In terms of COVID-19, Chairperson, we are now also on the third year of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has to date in this province alone claimed almost 16,000 lives out of more than 650,000 positive cases that have been identified through testing, tracing, and despite of the massive and government-led vaccination drive, it is clear that vaccination has helped to bring the number of casualties down significantly. As COGTA specifically, COVID-19 has onset of the pandemic taken 13 dedicated employees in whom we have lost not only hardworking colleagues, but many instead close friends and families. Similarly, we have the same time lost more than 167 officially from different municipalities. The overview of the performance in 2021-22 financial year, Mr. Chair, we present this budget policy statement having, as a department, achieved the second clean audit in a row for 2020-2021 financial year. The Auditor General of South Africa has once again rewarded our hardworking with a clean audit report for both Vote 11 department and the traditional levy and trust account. The credit for this must go to the whole team of COGTA, led by the head of department, Mr. Tando Tubane. The new term of local government, even as the pandemic continued to devastate our communities and negatively impact on the work of the government throughout 2021, we as COGTA still managed to deliver in close coordination with IEC in compliance with the government-mandated COVID-19 protocol, successful local government election on the 1st of November 2021. Compared to the 2016 local government election, last year municipal polls have yielded an unprecedented high number of hung municipality council in KZN. As a result, collision between and or among the political parties have become the imperative in order to constitute working majority in council. Strong oversight from this department will be required to monitor functionality of the new council and provide support where necessary. On program 1, which is administration, chairperson, targeted procurement, throughout 2021-2022, we actively earmarked 30% of the public pronouncement budget for awarding the to SMEs, cooperative, township, rural-based enterprise, people living with disability. We equally work to promote the black economic empowerment by ensuring that 60% of all bids were awarded to black Africans, with 30% to procurement going to women, 10% to military veterans, 5% to people living with disability, and 15% to youth. Having said all this, Chair, I also need to make the mention of the recent Constitutional Court judgment, which found that the regulation required companies tendering for public procurement to meet certain pre-qualification criteria was inconsistent with the Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act and the section of the Constitution which requires the public procurement to be fair, equitable, transparency, competitive, and cost-effective. As a department chair, we are awaiting the finalization of the updated regulation by the Custodian National Treasurer, which will have an impact on the targeted procurement. The regulation to regularize the contract employees on the human resource front, Mr. Chair, 2021-2022 saw the finalization of the permanent appointment of 120 contract employees of the department following the recruitment that will follow, with more than 120 employees who have been on contract for more than 7 years. We then decided to secure a budget to ensure that those officials, they're able to, we advertise posts and we have requested them to apply because we wanted to ensure that we follow all the necessary recruitment processes. This is in the keeping one of our ANC manifesto commitment, chairperson, of not only providing decent jobs, but also of improving the working conditions of the services of employees who are our human capital and our struggling to develop a capable and efficient development state, and as envisaged in the NDP and PGDP Vision 2030. Training of departmental staff through the series of memorandum of understanding with external training institutions such as national schools of government, we in 2021-2022 provided training opportunities to 236 departmental staff at all levels of employment. Example of training which ethics, problem solving, and other discipline. Program 2, local government. Implementation of 2019 State of Local Government Report, Mr. Chairperson, will recall that since 2019 we have been regularly reporting on the findings of and the subsequent progress regarding the State of Local Government Report. We conducted in June of that year as the most comprehensive assessment of the state of local government to date. The report focuses on the state of governance, financial management, service delivery in all 54 municipalities of KwaZulu-Natal. In August 2021, Chairperson, we conducted the latest review of the state of KZN municipality using the same methodology, which focused on the 3 key performance areas, namely governance and administration, financial viability and management, and basic delivery. Some of the highlights of the exercise are listed in the print version of this presentation. Mr. Chairperson, I wish to assure this august House that our monitoring of municipal performance continue to adhere to the strictest standard. It is comprehensive, continuous, and thorough. We conduct regular municipal visits. We provide hands-on support where and when necessary. We hold weekly NEV center meetings as well as monthly meetings on the departmental various business unit with the municipal management team. On the deployment of local government champion, in addition, Chairperson, we have in 2021-22 deployed dedicated local government champion in each of the KZN 10 districts, including the Metro. This has facilitated the resolution of countless service delivery issues on the ground where it matters most. Local government champions have been an eye and an ear of the department, and the municipality have taken advantage of their presence by utilizing them as a bridge between local government and provincial sphere of government in the province. The additional support to municipalities under under administration section 139 intervention have achieved an acceptable level of political administrative stability. We've intensified our support, including through the deployment of traditional experts in field of governance, finance, infrastructure development. In addition, Chairperson, monthly meetings have been held with the ministerial representative, senior municipal officials, and our own business unit to monitor the progress and provide assistance and guidance where required. Participation of Amakosi Kzncogta in municipal council, Chairperson, traditional leaders, they remain our crucial link between the government and the traditional communities, and their participation in the municipal governance is key. Currently, among our priorities in this regard, it is popularization of the new participation regime introduced on the 1st of April 2021. To date, Chair, 52 municipalities, except the Greater COGTA and Endumeni, have been provided with the detailed participation traditional leaders in line with the new provision. Implementation of the consequence management in municipalities. During 2021-2022, Chairperson, we tabled a total forensic report in terms of Section 106 of the Municipal Systems Act in different municipalities. We've also monitoring the implementation and of the recommendation of all the forensic report tabled to date. Out of 750 recommendations, a total of 316 have been implemented to date as a result of this exercise. A database on progress made in the implementation of recommendation has been updated on the monthly basis. Support measures for Umsunduzi municipality is one of the real city of KwaZulu-Natal. Given the ongoing challenges at Umsunduzi, we have, Chair, during 2021-2022, enhanced our monitoring of the municipality's recovery plan as part of intervention. We specifically addressed the issues of Umsunduzi waste management, potholes, recurring electricity challenges, strengthening the management capacity within the municipality. In addition to our ministerial representative at the municipality, we've deployed other officials who are working with Umsunduzi to resolve the matters that are relating to government debt. We also, Chairperson, deployed external financial experts to Umsunduzi who are working with the municipality for the period of 6 months starting in December 2021. Additionally to that, Chair, we've also deployed the engineering expert to work with the municipality on infrastructure matters for the period of 12 months starting from the January 2022, and a deployed electrical project manager who also been assisting the municipality in resolving the major challenges of electricity storm in December 2021 in Nokdin. The total of 25 million, Chairperson, has been allocated to assist Umsunduzi with an ongoing electricity challenges, with 9 million already have been transferred into Umsunduzi. The remaining 16 million has been included in the budget for 2022-23. Further than that, Chair, will also be engaging dedicated service provider to assist Umsunduzi to stabilize the electricity supply over the next 2 years. Post-election support to municipalities, 2021 local government election provided a full to municipality in the inauguration of the new office bearers. Once council were reconstituted, cluster engagement covering all the 54 municipalities were held, where we handed over a detailed report of previous council to the new municipal administration, outline on the program and action for the next 5 years. We have also been conducting a session with individual municipalities to unpack details of support that is provided by the department. And on the issues, on the other priorities as part of our post-election support to municipalities are as follows. The status of senior management posts in the municipalities. As at the 15 February 2022, there were 313 vacant senior management positions across the KZN municipalities, and of 268 were filled, which is 85%. The total vacant positions stood up at 45, which translates to 14% vacancy rate. Going forward, we have had the senior managerial posts be filled within 6 months of vacancy. Mr. Chairperson, we are concerned that some council have been terminating senior managers and application interfering with employment contract of municipal official, where it is proven that the council or the councillor knowingly took an unlawful decision of this or any other kind. As the MSC of COGTA, I will have no other option but to invoke provision of item 3 of Code of Conduct for councillors contained in the Municipal Structures Act. On the ward committee election, Chairperson, in order to implement the constitutional mandate in terms of the community participation as defined in the Systems Act, we have supported the establishment of ward committees in each ward in KZN municipalities within the stipulated time frame. In council, where valid reasons were provided, COGTA have granted extension of time to establish the ward committees. To date, we have established 98% of ward committees, with the remaining of 2% being objection raised post-establishment, who are in the process of being resolved. On the provincial rapid response and community development work program, Mr. Chairperson, we have promulgated the provincial rapid response strategy to provide a provincial framework for the management of public protest through the establishment and efficient functioning of the provincial and municipal rapid response team, inclusive participation of the key role players. All 54 municipalities have established the MRRT. As we recover from these recent floods, we have strengthened the involvement of the capacity of community development workers. We have specifically strengthened CDW capacity in being a conceive of the community issues being communicated to government and vice versa. I must indicate, Chair, that we have just appointed 10 CDW within the province to ensure that we have soldiers that are going to work with the people at the ground level. Capacitation of the new councillors. Post-election, we have likewise prioritized the capacitation of the new and the returning councillors through the targeted and need-directed intervention. This includes the councillor skills audit that aim at determined education level, current employment, years of experience in local government, and training needs of councillors. Its funding will allow for the development of ongoing capacity building intervention for all councillors who require them. Implementation of findings of skills audit and capacitation of municipal officials throughout 2021, Chairperson, particularly after the 2021 local government election. We work closely with the municipality to address the gaps we identify in the skills audit we had undertaken during the previous financial year. In doing so, Chair, we have ensured that the municipalities are now prioritizing the gaps identified in the skills audit in their workplace skills plan. Support the municipality oversight structures. A new term of local government has turned to our attention towards the need to identify the existing outstanding skills among the new elected councillors in order to provide necessary support in this regard. Our focus has been on the capacity of councillors in generally, on the municipal internal audit unit and the MPEC in particular. Improved revenue collection in municipalities. During 2021-2022, we deployed a targeted approach to revenue collection in municipalities that managed to reduce both customer and government debts while enhancing revenue collection. In tandem that with the COVID-19 debt relief programs introduced municipalities, consumers have been encouraged to pay their dues in time. And we must indicate, Chair, the ESCOM debt Chairperson, while we were able to assist and support municipalities to settle ESCOM debts in fully at Dumbe, Mtonjane, Nabakolo, Sinkosilangalibalele local municipalities prior years, we still have municipalities that still owe ESCOM. Currently, there are 5 KZN municipalities in areas with ESCOM, payment total of 775 million. Arising from our mediation effort and support in developing credible payment plan, 4 municipalities have drastically reduced their debt, namely Ulundi, Newcastle, Msunduzi, and Domain. We will continue, Chairperson, to support and monitor municipalities to highlight on the payment plan developed. Improve audit outcome of municipalities. Auditor General of South Africa officially released audit outcome for 2020-2021, irrespective of all 54 municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal on the 28th of February 2022. We want to congratulate COGTA municipality for retaining its clean audit, which attained clean audit under our financial expert program introduced during the audit year, as well as Kzncogta district for its clean audit in the 2020-2021 financial year. Msunduzi, Zululand, Big Five and Ubuhlebezwe improved from the qualified to unqualified audit. Amajuba district improved from the disclaimer to qualified audit. It is pleasing to note that there is no regression as has been noted, though more work still needs to be done in this regard. In eliminating irregular expenditure, in respect of unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, we have, throughout the 2021, reviewed the municipal processes to ensure strengthening internal control to prevent such expenditure. Regarding the UIFW expenditure already occurred, we provided intensified support to financial committee MPEG councils on the processes of dealing with such expenditure, and where necessary, we've encouraged municipalities to strengthen their consequence management to such expenditures. On Program 3, Chairperson, which is development and planning, the district development model in action. Chairperson, I'm happy to report in this August House that the district development model is already transforming the spheres of local government in KZN. This is an intergovernmental relations, is already operating in most of the district and the metro in the province, with all spheres of government engaging in one another, aligning and integrating their plans, budget for shared implementation. This alignment is now expressed in the Models 1 plans, which is now being finalized with our hands-on support throughout the province, with the exception of eThekwini, whose 1 plan is complete. Implementation of provincial water master plan. In 2021, Chairperson, we began implementation of water intervention and treating the KZN provincial water master plan. A key part of our effort was accelerated province-wide water intervention that are aimed at improving general access water, both communities and businesses. In 2021-2022, Chairperson, we supported individual municipalities in increasing their level of water service in line with their ward profile. We have also intensified our support to municipalities by providing additional technical capacity to a number of districts, including Uku and Kzncogta. We also embark on the program of provide short-term relief to water-scale areas throughout the province of KwaZulu-Natal region by installing new 220 boreholes in 6 districts, which Uthukela, Kzncogta, Zululand, Amajuba, and Herigwala, and Umzinyati. And the portfolio of COGTA in the legislature have visited a number of these boreholes. On water intervention in water crisis, in water challenge district, Uku district is one of the province water hotspots as identified by the provincial water master plan. There are challenges of internet water supply at Uku, at point out by Ms. Vuyukazi Hlope from Uku in her input to this speech via Facebook that are due to aging infrastructure, unplanned power outage, as well as vandalism. In response to Ms. Hlope, during the 2021-2022, we transferred 19.3 million to Uku for water infrastructure project, including 12 boreholes at Umzumbe and Muzwabantu local municipalities. We also appointed a technical expert who is stationed at Uku district to assist in unblocking the local water challenges at Uku, Chairperson. The KZN Provincial Electricity Master Plan, having successfully completed the KZN Provincial Water Master Plan, we have in 2021 developed and began to implement the KZN Provincial Electricity Master Plan. And the master plan focuses on universal access to electricity, alternative energy, and asset management framework. Specifically, the plan addresses on ongoing need to support municipalities with operations and maintenance to the challenges of energy infrastructure. Electricity delivery highlights, Chair. Throughout the 2021-22, our dedicated electricity program has gone from the strength to the strength. Some of the projects delivered highlighted in this period are listed in this print vision of this presentation, where we electrify number of projects at Abakolo, at Jozini, as a department, because the municipalities at Abakolo and Jozini, they failed to provide, to give people electricity. We then decided to do it for ourselves. In 2022-2023, we will allocate further 5 million for electricity connection in Suze, Lutuli, Ozwatini.
Just a second, Honorable.
At Ndwedwe.
Let me see. Let us preserve the decorum in the House. This is a critical debate, so we don't want even to hear some noise. We're sorry about that. Let us not have, but please proceed.
No, they are happy because of the progress. Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. eThekwini Alternative Energy Initiative, eThekwini Metro has recently embarked on the new policy direction to adequately reduce the energy reliance on Excom. The new energy policy includes eThekwini Integrated Resource Plan, which is in the first of its kind at the local government in South Africa as a whole. This has been developed in order to safeguard the sales delivery mandate of the municipality, lowering the cost of electricity bill, bring policy certainty to the investors, and adhere to environmental sustainability. Assisting municipality to fully spend infrastructure grant, we have been transparent about the province not doing very well in terms of overall expenditure on grants due to the lack of skills and capacity, SCM challenges, and absence of monitoring. We are under constant threat from the National Treasurer for withdrawal of unspent funds. As part of turnaround strategy at Chairperson, we've established a dedicated project management unit that is now working with municipalities to speed up project implementation and strengthen planning for infrastructure projects. A provincial small town socio-economic revitalization, we have finalized the provincial small town socio-economic revitalization strategy that will identify key intervention in the priority nodes throughout the province, considering a spatial planning initiative and linking these with industrial initiative that will improve their sustainability. The strategy aims to provide direction on how government and other stakeholders should tackle the revival of the economic declining towns in KZN. Implementation will take place in the current financial year. Our focus will be on the number of municipalities, including the municipalities that have been mentioned by the Honorable Premier in his State of the Provincial Address, such as Mkambatini, Idumbe, Mpofana, and other municipalities. On the district development agencies, the functionality of the DDAs was monitored and supported by the 2021-22 role of DDA in LED has become increasingly evident in governance radical economic transformation program, which include asset, bulk buying, government warehousing, all of which are geared towards mainstreaming SMEs in rural and township economy. The DDAs and municipal have also been introduced to potential partnership opportunities in KZN with a view of creating economic growth and assisting the utilization of existing assets in creating economic growth. The special project and their implementation during 2021-22 Chairperson, we continue to support municipalities and traditional institutions by rolling out of small town reparation, corridor development, rural local economic development, Amakosi asset programs, and the following projects were completed in that financial year, Richmond Siyathutuka, Makota Road, Kwatuguza People's Park, Msunduzi Youth Enterprise Park, Naye Presid, Edumbe, roads and pollution facilities. In 2022-2023, HPC will allocate a total of 45.8 million for various projects under the Small Town Representation Program, including the Umdoni, Umkambatini, Edumbe, and other municipalities that are going to assist. Also in 2022-2023, we will allocate 11.2 million for corridor development project at Umuzwabantu and Umsunduzi. Amakosi-led rural local economic development in supporting Amakosi through the Rural Economic Development Program. We have in 2021 allocated 6.5 million to Nkanini TC for expansion of Bulwa Farm agri-tunnels and open field production, wherein in the local cooperative is supported to produce vegetable. And the Kwakolo TC was also supported with 6.5 million to expand the existing work, Pezgom Corner Youth Cooperative through AgriTernet. In 2022-2023, we'll allocate further 3 million to Sitole TA at Uthugele. Establishment of the new Community Service Center. By the way of redressing the past partially isolation of service to the majority of our population, in 2021-2022, we officially opened Umfolozi Matimatolo at Umvoti CSCs. Umfolozi CS is now providing key services such as SASA and other departments that are there. Matimatolo is currently in the process of formalizing the tenant occupation. On the mass job creation, Mr. Chairperson, it remains my cardinal conviction that a job is a best core care for poverty and inequality, which is why local economic development and job creation have been one of the principal focus areas since joining the department. In 2020-2021, we've created 45,250 job opportunities through the Community Work Program. Moreover, the additional of 261 employment opportunities created through the newly development in service training program. The department also created more than 500 employment opportunities through in flagship municipal internship program. Program 4, Chairperson, killing of Amakosi and Izinduna. Chairperson, this is one of the one serious challenge that we are faced as KwaZulu-Natal. The surge in the killing of traditional leaders remain a grave concern, as acknowledged by the Honorable Premier in his State of the Province address. Consequently, efforts have been made to apprehend the criminal who have been responsible for this killing of Izinduna namaKhosi. Siyafisa ukuthi sibambisane nomphakathi wonke ngoba uhulumeni namaphoyisa ewodwa angeke wenza yonke into, kodwa kufanele siye sonke ngoba izigebengu siyazazi ukuthi sila ehlala khona, sikwazi ukuthi protect amakhosi asendlunkulu nenduna zamakhosi. We must report that total of 43 cases of murders have been registered with South African Police Services since 2012, and the total of 25 people have been arrested in relation to the 14 of the cases. Kuyabonakala ukuthi umsebenzi wamaphoyisa uyenzeka, kodwa namaphoyisa ewodwa ngekakwazi ukwenza yonke into, but we need to ensure that we work together. Provision of resources to Amakosi. During 2021-2022, we've continued with our effort to uphold the dignity of the institution of the traditional leadership by revelation of 26 traditional councils, which needed minor repairs. The total cost of 2.4 million in the current year will construct further 7 imizi yezizwe. We have started the process already. We have already started to identify those imizi yezizwe. Similarly, in 2021-2022, we provide furniture to 113 traditional councils following the thorough assessment of their needs. And further, in this financial year, will, Chairperson, provide 54 traditional council with furniture in this current financial year. Capacity building for traditional institution, Chairperson, we believe that traditional leaders need to be equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge and methods governance to serve the community effectively. In 2021, in August 2021, we, in the partnership with the Dialogue, conducted an induction workshop that sought to capacitate them together with their structures with skills and fulfill their mandate. The new Traditional Cohesion and Leadership Act was covered in this workshop. In the recognition of traditional leaders during 2021-2022, we through the Provincial Executive Council successfully recognized 21 Amakosi and 7 Amabamba Bukhosi. Some of these recognitions have brought finality to long-standing succession dispute. On 2022-2023 budget in the World Policy Contest, Chairperson, 2022-23 budget continued to be constrained by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, and most recently the impact of the devastating flood KZN experienced in the past few weeks. To ensure that our limited resources make the maximum impact on communities, we are targeting our spending initiative on the most urgent priorities, while we'll continue to strive to improve expenditure efficiency. Specifically, our improved financial management is bound to ensure of a great value for money when coupled with an improved SCM framework. Specific pronouncement for 2022-2023 financial year, Chairperson, for Program 1, recruitment of persons with disability. Chairperson, we encourage that by a result of our drive to actively recruit women managers whose proportion in the departments is now stand at 58% of senior managers. We will in 2022-2023 embark on the similar recruitment drive to employ persons and especially youth with disability. And to this end, we will engage with organizations such as Disabled People of South Africa that provide support to this available and vastly underemployed demographic. New offices for Umzinyati and Herikwala district. During 2022-23, we will embark on the construction of the new offices in the district of Umzinyati and Herikwala district, which will act on the one-stop shop for the department. The new offices will go a long way strengthening our district capacity and improving our operational efficiency on the ground in this district. On Program 2, Chairperson, dealing with coalition municipalities, squabble among the political parties diminished the public confidence on the ability to govern effectively. We urge political parties to do all in their power to prevent a reaction, working with our partners such as SALCA. We will setting up a conflict management mechanism to ensure that coalition municipalities are stable. There is no doubt, Chairperson, that the coalition will remain an important aspect of local government going forward. We will engage the Minister of COGTA to consider argument policy and legislation to cater the stability of coalition in municipalities in future. On the quarterly engagement with municipal ESCOs, starting in 2021-2022, there will be a quarterly municipal cluster engagement with executive committees in all KZN municipalities. These clusters engagement are envisaged to eliminate the silos approach in coordinating support to municipalities, strengthening the oversight role of ESCOs, and refocus these committees' executive role and responsibilities, which entrench in the various parts of the existing local government legislation. The new approach in municipal intervention, Mr. Chairperson, we recognize the need for the alternative step to constitute the intervention in order to induce compliance by municipalities with their executive obligation. To this end, we're liaising with the Minister of COGTA to fast-track the promulgation of the Intergovernmental Monitoring Support Intervention Bill, which provide a clear guidance on the appointment of administrators when intervention in municipalities. Credibility of municipal integrated development plan. At the end of 2021-2022, the provincial IDP credibility average has improved to 73.7%. This is above the provincial benchmark of 60% and the national benchmark of 50%. The focus of the fifth generation of IDPs will now be on the implementation and monitoring of the identified priorities and commitments made by the municipalities in their IDPs. For our part, we will no longer only focus on the credibility of the municipal IDP, but will develop a tool to monitor implementation of the commitments made in the IDP. The revival of the back to basic approach during 2022, as pronounced in the Honorable Premier State of the Provincial Address, will revive the number of service delivery campaign under the umbrella of the Back to Basic program, which is aimed to refocusing municipalities to prioritize basic. This approach has already been applied at Msunduzi municipalities to municipality, and the result in terms of service delivery quick wins are promising. Province-wide, this campaign will include Masakane campaign, which create awareness and importance of paying for services, campaign to repair broken streets and fill a pothole, localized cleanup campaign, but also the joint campaign with the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs on environmental awareness and damage of illegal dumping. The rollout of municipal official and traditional institution, the municipality employee skills audit undertaken in 2021 will now be tabled in the municipal council meeting, and municipality will be engaged to develop an action plan, implement of the recommendation. Program 3, Chair, establishment of social compact, working with the Kzncogta Economic Council, we have comments with the cascading the concept of social compact, which will enhance the participation of all sectors in economic development in municipalities, especially in ensuring economic recovery from the impact of COVID-19. Social unrest in July 2021 will also support the municipalities in providing the conducive environment for the private sector to participate and increase opportunities for investment through effective implementation of municipal revenue enhancement strategies and municipal development incentive strategy. The review of municipal LED strategy, we will, Chairperson, during 2022-2023, be reviewing the provincial LED strategy to accommodate the implementation of the provincial localization strategy, and in doing so, promote local production by small business. The new approach will entail a strong partnership between the departmental LED unit and various NGOs and private sector in advancing LED initiative. Implementation of KZN Water Master Plan, Chairperson, I have spoken that we are now implementing the Water Master Plan, we are no longer developing it, hence I have already spoken on the intervention that we have made in different municipalities or water authorities, and also spoken to the Provincial Electricity Master Plan, and we will continue, Chair, to work with municipalities to assist those municipalities to ensure that they have alternative energy. Expanding and enhancing EPWP to 1,000 job opportunities. On success on the management of EPWP and internship, we have resulted in decision to further expand these opportunities to ensure that youth women in particular are afforded many job opportunities as possible. This expansion create additional of 1,000 job opportunities for next 2 years. Municipalities will be asked to contribute to the program, which will also see the development of a new model for supervision on beneficiary. African Smart City on the Eastern Seaboard. We are now actively engaged with the conceptual development and coordination of the Eastern Seaboard Project announced by the Honorable President Cyril Ramaphosa and prioritized by the Honorable Prima Zikalala. This area along N2, linking KZN to Eastern Cape, is carried by the country's history to force removal and separate development. In line with the vision of the spatial transformation, we are now collaborating with the partners in the national government and the Eastern Cape municipalities to reimagine development these coastal and inland areas in South African First African Smart City. Disaster risk reduction in informal settlement, Mr. Chairperson, we've identified veld and shark fire as one of the hazards with the disproportionately high number of incidents and fatalities in the province. This incident also often result in the disruption of environment and property and agriculture sector, thus affecting livelihood and economy. From 2022 onwards, we will, through the Provincial Disaster Management Center, proactively embark on the fire safety program focused on informal settlement and rural areas. Early disaster warning system for the province will, during 2022-2023, procure and install an integrated communication information management system to disaster management in the Provincial Disaster Management Center at Mkhondeni here in Pietermaritzburg, Chairperson. This is a multi-year project which will involve both hardware and software, and its purpose will be receive early disaster warning and feed information to other stakeholders, and including municipalities and sector departments. The system will improve coordination of the provincial response to disaster in the face of KZN worsening a climate change profile. Improving KZN coordination response to disaster, the knowledge we gain from the partnership in fighting against the climate change, we must match by the investment into the improved coordinated response to disaster at the provincial level. To able to provide such a response consistently, our existing disaster management structures will require most up-to-date technology, and we will approaching the provincial government for adequate funding in this regard as soon as we have quantified our needs. Support for Amajuba and Umzinyathi District Management Center, even as we continue to support each and every disaster management structure in the province, the Disaster Management Center at Amajuba and Umzinyathi District will in 2023-2024 receive a special attention in order to bring them to a standard of the other district management center in KZN. We will work closely with both districts to ensure that these two centers are adequately equipped to fulfill their critical mandate. Additional funding to tune of 5 million for each center will be allocated for 2020-2023.
Honorable MEC, your time is up, but you can see that you towards the tail end of your speech, you can allocate 2 minutes just to sum up. If you want more, then we can just take at the end, but you also at the end, yeah.
Chair, can I take 7 minutes from my yes.
No, that's fine. We are comfortable.
Thank you. On program 4, Chair, I'm trying to reduce your questions, Honorable Mwango and Mr. Mayor. On program 4, Chairperson, Commission on Resolution of Traditional Dispute, the institution of traditional leadership have planned by ongoing dispute relating to succession in Ubukhosi position, as well as boundaries dispute among the communities. This affects the stability in communities as well as service delivery and development. The Honorable Premier has recently appointed the new Provincial Commission on the Traditional Leadership Dispute and Claim for the 5-year term to deal with Ubukhosi dispute, and this body will receive our support during the 2022-2023 and beyond. Provision of digital tools to Amakosi Chairperson. You will recall that in 2021-22, we procured tablets for provincial house leadership, traditional leadership, and the chairperson of local houses. In this financial year, the department will provide 247 tablets to Amakosi who belong to 11 local house of traditional leaders. This will enhance the participation of Amakosi in municipal council and other government engagement that are convened visually. The budget per program, chairperson, for program 1, which administration were allocating 398,689,000. For program 2, local government is 359,511,000. For program 3, development planning, 423,074,000. For program 4, which is traditional affairs, is 638,759,000. The overall budget for the department is 1,818,040,000. In conclusion, Chair, the budget we are presenting here today come with a solid set of tangible deliverables for 2022-2023 financial year, but also not the time beyond when we begin to group and rebuild our municipality. Their local economics and our traditional institution after the devastating COVID-19 pandemic. This is what we mean by turning the corner in KZN municipalities. The political party that has nominated me chair for leadership of this department, the African National Congress, the Liberation Movement, we expect a measurable performance. It will expect measurable performance in this regard. I'm determined to deliver for all the commitment that we have made in this August House. I'm also grateful for the support in this House, especially from the COGTA portfolio committee chaired by Honorable portfolio members, for the robust oversight is helping the department to live up to its name, and allow me to express my profound appreciation to the Provincial House of Traditional Leadership led by Inkosi Yasemadungeni, Inkosi Uchilize, with the support that they are giving us at the traditional level, and we are working ngendlela right in namakhosi. We hope that we will continue sisebenze kahle namakhosi asendlunkulu wonkana. At COGTA itself, my gratitude goes to the head of department, Mr. Tubane, and the whole team of COGTA, who have capable managers and capable officials, from the cleaner to the admin clerk and to the HOD. All officials of COGTA, they are very valuable because of the support that they are giving to me to ensure that we advance service delivery to our people. Let me also acknowledge the late of my father, Baba Hlomuka, who continued to watch me wherever he is, and I hope that even my mother and my wife and my children and entire supporting family for their unwavering support that always give me in these difficult times. Mr. Speaker, allow me to end by a befitting quote from our own African revolutionary, President Thomas Sankara, who once said, open quote, "Knowledge is enough to change the material condition of our people. We need to create practical program systems that will empower us economically, politically, socially, spiritually, and mentally. We need courage to act," close quote. The budget policy statements seek to transit our knowledge of local government, traditional leadership institution. It presents the practical program that, working together, should give all of us a courage to go out there work towards improving and changing the lives of our people for better. Mr. Chairperson, these are the words of gratitude. I hereby table the budget for vote level cooperative governance and racial affairs for 2022-2023 financial year. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC Hlomuka, Mlalazi Kzncogta. You only took 5 minutes at the end, so you didn't exhaust your time. So you still have a space. Let us acknowledge MEC Pillay. Thank you for gracing our shows today. I'm not going to acknowledge honorable members individually, so let me greet all the honorable members in our midst, the media personnel, and the cohort from COGTA led by Babu Tubane. Let me also thank the role that has been played already by our honorable chairperson, Ubaba KK, this morning. We started at the wrong platform downstairs. Let me also apologize on 2 honorable members because we thought they are the one, but the media, because the room is small, they had to do. We also acknowledge the presence of our Chief Whip, Honorable Zuma. Let us start now. Report by the chairperson, Honorable ZLI Cele. The platform is yours for 10 minutes. Honorable Cele is mostly protected in this august house. The platform is yours. You are recognized, Honorable Cele.
Greetings to you, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Duma. Greetings to the Premier, members of this august house, Amakhosi Asendlungulu, distinguished guest. Honorable Chairperson and members of this house, I take this opportunity to table a summary of the committee's deliberation of 2022-23 budget. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs presented the 2022-23 budget and the annual performance plan, the APP, at the meeting of COGTA Portfolio Committee on the 14th of April 2022. The committee is pleased with the fact that the APP is fully aligned with the national provincial priorities, and that consideration was given in developing the APP with a new term of the municipal administration and changes necessitated by it. To comply with the sector oversight model, which is SOM, the committee held an interactive session at Mgungundlovu District Municipality and Mbendle Local Municipality on the 10th of December 2021. A session which was attended by stakeholders within the district and the public at large. At this meeting, stakeholders were given an opportunity to table their contributions on the draft APP and the budget for 2022-23 to the committee. The department assured the committee that it will continue to support and ensure that there is alignment between the national, provincial, and local government priorities. Working together with different stakeholders in the province and countrywide, the department committed itself in contributing towards the realization and achievement of government's priorities as spelled out in the MTSF. The meeting to consider the budget and APP proposals by the department was held on the 14th of April 2022. This meeting convened shortly after the finance hearing held on the 12th of April 2022. At both these engagements, the committee had an opportunity to interrogate the budget and the APP proposal for the department. Matters of concerns were also articulated by the committee members. Honorable Chairperson, it is a welcome opportunity for us in the COGTA Portfolio Committee to participate in the debate of the Cooperative Government and Traditional Affairs budget speech presented in this House. The committee commends the department for transparency displayed in its budget processes. The critical matters that were noted and are worth mentioning in this House are as follows. Approximately 27 million has been budgeted by the department to improve the traditional administrative centers, the TAC's infrastructures. This is where the department will complete 12 major rehabilitation projects in 2022-2023 financial year. Moreover, the department has indicated that a further 3 million will be utilized for minor work to community service centers. During the Mpendle stakeholder engagement, the community members raised concern in relation to the lack of the adequate rehabilitation of traditional administrative centers, infrastructure by the department. 1 million has been allocated by the department for anti-gender-based violence and femicide interventions and campaigns of traditional leaders to assist in the reduction of the scourge in traditional communities. An additional 7 million will be made available for Imizi Yezizwe program by the department.
Awuyibambe kancane Mhlonishwa. Ngicela nisicelele lo baba ukuthi akathi uphuma kancane uyilungisa indaba efoni yakhe siyasilimaza njengamanje sine image to preserve and the decorum in the house, please. You are protected, Honorable Cele, proceed.
An additional, thank you, Chairperson. An additional 7 million will be made available for Imizi Yezizwe program by the department for the rehabilitation or maintenance of Imizi Yezizwe. Moreover, the department has catered for Imizi Yezizwe to be constructed within the 2022-23 new infrastructure assets, which is capital allocations. This includes the Zulu, the Kaba, Hlomindlela community centers, among others. In terms of service delivery projects allocated within Program 2, Local Government, and Program 3, Development and Planning, the department has allocated a budget of 78 million for transfers to local government. The 78 million is broken down as follows: 11,200,000 allocated against a corridor development program for construction and trading stalls, 45,800,000 allocated against small town rehabilitation, as the MEC has alluded, 16 million allocated against disaster management programs, as we saw in his speech, for Amajuba Umzinyati disaster centers, and 5 million allocated against a massification program for electrification, as he has alluded as well, for Umsunduzi and eThekwini as well. For budget 2022-23, the portfolio committee notes that the department is allocated 1.8 billion in the 2022-23 financial year to deliver on its mandate. The committee has also noted that this is a minimum increase of 2.2% if compared to the 2021-22 main appropriation amount of 1.78 billion, due to no changes having been observed to the department allocation in the 2022-23 financial year. The committee has also noted that the minimal increase in the 2022-23 MTEF budget is mainly to cater for planned filling of vacant posts, which the committee is quite excited if it's going to happen, the remuneration of Izinduna, support to traditional institutions, transfer to the IEC for TC elections, among others. The committee has noted that the department has allocated 9 million for the unrest damage to provincial infrastructure in relation to the traditional administration center affected by the unrest for the 2021-22 financial year. Of this allocated 9 million, the department has only managed to spend 326,000 in 2021-22 financial year and will request the 8.6 million to be rolled over for the completion of the 5 projects done by the Department of Public Works on behalf of the department. The portfolio committee has committed itself to monitor this 8 million rollover request that will be requested by the department from the provincial treasury. In relation to filling of vacant posts, the department has assured the committee that it has done relatively well in filling critical vacant posts, especially in terms of the priority posts. The committee resolved that the progress report to be tabled in the committee at the next meeting of the committee as part of the playing robust oversight, as the MEC has said, over the issues of filling of vacant critical posts by the department. Noting all the priorities presented by the Department of COGTA, the Portfolio Committee is dedicated in fulfilling its constitutional and legislative mandate through application of sector model, where it will monitor with keen interest through robust oversight and the department activities, both from financial perspective, actual performance when tabling their quarterly report to the committee for the ensuing budget year. The committee wishes to highlight the following areas of concern and areas of noting a special interest that arose at the budget hearing. The significant decline in the EPWP integrated grant for provincial grant allocated over the years, where it has declined from 3 million in 2019-20 financial year down to 2.7 million in 2021-22 financial year. The 1 million to 1.9 million in 2021-22 financial year. In the current year of 2022-23, department has been allocated 1.9 million. A concern was raised by the committee that the 1.8 billion allocated budget to 2022-23 financial year and about 400 million goes towards service delivery, while most of the budget goes towards compensation of employees, to an amount of 7.9 million, and the remuneration of Izinduna of 3,098 Izinduna. This implies that about 65% of the department budget goes to the compensation of employees and Izinduna for 2022-23 financial year. The committee raised a concern to the department readiness to realize the 55 million transfer allocated to the IEC, as in the past, an amount of 19 million was incurred by the IEC against the budget of almost 47 million. Poor revenue collection by municipality also highlighted as a matter of concern. The committee indicated that it will be necessary for councillors to lead revenue campaigns amongst the communities they lead. In conclusion, one wishes to commend the Department of Cooperative Government for achieving a clean audit over the past 2 years. The department's commitment to work for the people of KwaZulu-Natal is evident through their favorable and desirable audit outcomes, as the department managed to spend 100% of the 2020-21 budget, while achieving over 90% of its performance indicators for the same financial year. May I take this opportunity to thank the MEC of Finance, Honorable Sipho Hlomuka, all members of the Portfolio Committee, the HOD, Mr. Tabane and his team for the work that they do, for their cooperation. Lastly, to thank the legislature support staff for providing administrative support to our Portfolio Committee. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Cele. Nje abantu sebefuna ukucorrect kanti ke uthe Tubane bese ungathi uthe Tabane, so into ezinjalo ziyenzeka nje, and there is a stage fright when you are here. So we acknowledge that. Let's proceed on a lighter note, honorable members. The first honorable member to take the debate, to lead the debate from the ANC for 9 minutes, Honorable MPP Zungu. Kwabini, the platform is yours.
Okay.
We want to also to wish her belated birthday. She
50th.
had just reached the 50, half century, the special one. Thank you. Igama lamakhosikazi. Proceed.
Thank you, House Chair. Allow me to extend my greetings to the members of this House, also to express my indebtedness to the People's Liberation Movement, the ANC, as I represent here in this debate. Honorable members, as we all know that COGTA is one of the most essential and critical departments in the life of the provincial government, as it presides over the healthy functioning of municipal institutions, which are key to service delivery, and also presides over the proper functioning of bodies like traditional house, which are just as important. The mandate and the mission of this department is directly related to the provincial's ability to serve its people. The cry for service delivery among our communities and the developmental agenda of the ANC-led government, in line with the African Union's Agenda 2063, Aspiration 1, which is a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. This makes the department should be central and should propel the activities it is entrusted with. The recent floods tested the character of everyone, and especially the competency and readiness of the various units of this department in particular. This recent situation, Chair, compelled the department to live up to the challenges and respond swiftly to ensure the protection of lives, rescue, and eventually resumption of stability in the municipalities and our communities. One is therefore not afraid to say that the department has not only been visible, but has left no vacuum in local government for the intervention in struggling municipalities to respond to rapid responses during the recent natural disasters. It therefore suffices that one congratulates the Honorable MEC and the Department on the occasion of tabling this budget. Honorable MEC, I will be making an immense mistake if I fail to acknowledge your efforts and not congratulate you on your department for making meaningful inroads on issues that relate to traditional affairs. Also considering that these days are very sensitive issues for which the department has navigated during the 6th administration with high precision. It's a known fact that that this department has been plagued by historical issues which we can see being resolved. Among many is the issue that has been a thorn in the flesh of traditional leaders, which is the outstanding payment of salaries for Izinduna, that is related to the debt that is owed as a result of the 2014 presidential proclamation. We understand that this matter is at the advanced stage of resolution by the National Treasury, National COGTA, and our province. We therefore call upon all stakeholders involved to expedite this process and realize its fruition. We also appreciate the budget set aside for the revitalization program aimed to rebuild Imizezizwe, the allocation of 8 million to start the building of Imizezizwe for the current financial year. Also wish to applaud the commitment to avail a further 7 million for the next financial year for the continuation of this program. Although a lot still needs to be done, but this is a step to the right direction. Nakho-ke Hlomuka ngijabulela nanokuthi nobukhosi bangakithi eMandeni kwaHlomendlini abusilele ngaphandle. Siyahalalisa lapha. On extended public works program, House Chair, we wish to laud the department for expanding and enhancing its EPWP program to further astounding 1,000 jobs. This will go a long way in alleviation of poverty, enhancing skills development, and addressing unemployment among youth. We make a clarion call to the department to ensure that women and people with disability be majority beneficiaries of this program. House Chair, we further salute COGTA for the creation of 45,000 job opportunities through the Community Works Program, even under the difficult times of COVID-19. We implore you to augment and expand the municipal internship program across all districts to ensure that our youth are imparted with an on-job experience. House Chair, the allocation of 45.8 million towards small town rehabilitation program is also greatly welcomed. In terms of the disaster conditional grant, we call upon the department to prioritize the upgrade and improvement of the disaster centers. This coupled with a clear program to avoid similar scourge in future affecting areas along the recognized flood lines in line with Goal 13 of UN Sustainable Development Goals. Honorable MNC, we have noted your report on the state of our municipality and how COGTA has helped ailing municipalities with turnaround strategy. We applaud the work that is being done and hope to see complete turnaround in the entire outlook of the municipal sphere, where our municipalities will no longer require intervention from provincial government. We urge the Omnisi Hlomuka, the HOD Tubane, and the entire department to continue to excel. The people of KwaZulu-Natal deserve good governance because that is all public official is supposed to give in service of his or her people. As Island Chair, I would like to admonish the quote from the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, when he described the gains of Indian government over the years in office. He says, I quote, "Good governance with good intention is the hallmark of our government. Implementation with integrity is our core passion." I thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Kwabini. Thank you so much, Kwabini. We just have to remind honorable members that there is time that is being utilized closer to Ubabuza Tembi, so just gaze at that direction so that you feel okay. It will just assist you. The next member to participate in our debate for 10 minutes from IFP, Honorable O.B. Kunene. You are recognized. You may proceed, Mdimanda.
The Honorable Chairperson, the Honorable Leader of the Official Opposition, the Honorable MEC, Amakosi present, maybe virtually, Honorable members of this august House, the HOD and senior managers present. I'm grateful to Inkatha Yenkulego Sizwe for affording me an opportunity to participate in this important debate. Honorable Chairperson, we began this year, 2022, on a very sour note when we saw the House of Democracy, our parliament, in flames. This happened after a very difficult year where the economy of our country was dealt a devastating blow by the effects of lockdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic. As if this was not enough, our province and the Gauteng province faced civil unrest and looting that cost our economy an estimated 50 billion rand. This was followed by floods that ravaged some parts of our province in April of this year, claiming lives and collapsing infrastructure. It is so painful that more than 400 lives were lost and more than 60 people are unaccounted for in this province. The people of our province were dealt a serious blow. The infrastructure was destroyed. They lost their possessions, which they had labored for many years, not to mention the loss of precious lives. The IFP passes its condolences to all those who lost their loved ones through these floods. Hlalohloniphekile iqembu lenkatha lizwakalisa okukhulu ukudumala ngokulahleka kwemiphefumulo engaka ngenxa yezikhukhula futhi sikanye nalabo ngemiphefumulo abangakatholakali namanje abangakabatholi namanje abathandiweyo babo. Iqembu lenkatha yenkululeko lahambela izindawo ezahlukene eThekwini namaphethelo kuyobona umonakalo owenzekile labuye lalekelela ngezinsiza ezidingwa yilabo abalahlekelwe ngalesikhathi esinzima isifundazwe sakithi esibhekene naso. I'm happy, Honorable MEC, that you requested us to observe a moment of silence when you began your delivering your speech. It was very important for us to have done so. We thank you for that. Honorable MC, this brings me to inquire from you whether disaster management centers within our province are capable enough to mitigate the effects of disaster. Because going according to the experiences of the people on the ground, some disaster management centers where the recent floods were experienced failed them. The people we spoke to expressed their concern to us when we met them that in some areas affected, it took a long time for any official or assistance to reach them after they've been promised assistance. We need to look closer to this issue of readiness in order to ascertain whether disaster management centers in our province are properly equipped, and that when they issue early warnings for the impending disaster that may occur, that such warnings reach the residents of our province on time, and that they are assisted to respond quickly before disaster strikes. Honorable Chairperson, the IFP notes the 1.8 billion rand budget allocated to this department. It is a matter of concern, though, that an amount of 793.7 million of this budget goes to compensation of employees, which equals to 65% of the budget, leaving about 400 million rand for service delivery. On the EPW grant, the IFP shares concerns expressed by the Portfolio Committee regarding the decline of the EPW grant over the years to a mere 1.993 million rand for this financial year. This grant assists in mitigating the high rate of employment in our country, in our province. We know that an amount of 78 million in this budget will be transferred to local government, 11.2 million rand for corridor development for the construction of trading stalls, 45.8 million rand for the rehabilitation of small towns, 16 million rand for disaster management centers in Amachuba and Umzingati districts. On the traditional leadership, the IFP notes that an amount of 396 million towards the payment of to his induna has been reserved. We are eager to know what happened at the meeting. The OSHOD, Mr. Tubane, reported at the Portfolio Committee meeting that it was going to take place on the 20th of April with the National Sphere to discuss back pay to his induna and the payment of traditional council secretaries. The IFP will continue to place on record its concerns that the stipends paid to traditional council secretaries are a shame, and something needs to be done by the department to increase it. In fact, it is shameful that traditional council secretaries have been paid by the department a stipend of 1,600 rand since 2012. We wish that you, Honorable MEC, could discuss the plight of traditional council secretaries when you meet with Amakosi, and give them an assurance that the matter of their secretaries will receive your attention. The IFP notes that an amount of 27 million rand has been allocated towards implementing infrastructure in traditional administrative centers. The IFP wishes to submit in this debate that the participation of Amakosi in municipalities, as the Honorable MEC has said, remains hollow if Amakosi do not have powers to vote in those municipalities. We hope this matter will be addressed during our lifetime. On climate change, the latest flights has made it clear that in planning processes within municipalities and within the provinces itself, challenges brought about by climate change must be confronted head-on. Any delay in taking this into account will see our province having to face dire consequences going forward, because climate change imperatives must be factored into all planning processes. It is also important to establish whether local municipalities do fulfill their legislative obligations towards getting ready to face disasters. Disaster management should not only be left to district municipalities, but local municipalities as well must have a role to play in getting ready to mitigate the effect of disasters. On the intervention in municipalities, Kzncogta remains concerned about the interventions by the department to some municipalities within the province. There are municipalities that are under administration for a long time. That is our concern, 3 years and more. And we wonder whether the purpose is served by these interventions, or is it a matter of those appointed as administrators failing to turn around those municipalities within a reasonable time. Interventions should not be a permanent feature of the operations of municipalities. Properly qualified administrators would, within a reasonable time, turn municipalities around. It is therefore important to look closely at administrators that take long to turn municipalities around, as to whether they have what it takes to turn the municipalities they were deployed to around. Honorable MEC, This brings me to the latest judgment by the High Court relating to Tuba Municipality inaugural meeting and the Zululand District Municipality Forensic Investigation, which was commissioned by this department. It is known by all and sundry now that the department lost these two cases in the High Court. It is surprising and actually embarrassing that when the inaugural council meeting was held in Tuba last year, this department was represented, but the law was flouted without the department representative intervening to avoid an illegal act to occur. The IFP had to take the matter to the High Court to challenge what happened at this meeting. The High Court ruled in favor of the IFP on this matter, which resulted in the reconstitution of Mkhanyakudu District Municipality recently. On the 6th of May 2022, the High Court delivered another judgment that was an embarrassment to this department in the matter of the forensic report compiled by Mdledle Incorporated in Zululand District Municipality. The mayor of this municipality had always maintained that an injustice had occurred in the manner the investigation was conducted, in that investigators did not interview him and proceeded to make a finding against him. The PMB High Court, in its finding under the topic, failure to comply with the requirements of procedural fairness, vindicated the mayor of Zululand District Municipality. This begs the question, why was this obvious error on the part of the investigators was not found, and worst of all, when the mayor protested, nobody listened within the department. The IFP wonders how much the department had to pay the lawyers for the cost which could have been avoided had due diligence been conducted in the Tuba municipality matter and the Zululand District Municipality matter. I'll come back. Thank you.
I'm not that generous. Thank you. The next member from the TA for 8 minutes, Honorable Ellen Mayor. The platform is yours.
Sharing, you're not sweeping, I'm happy. Oh, there it is, thank you.
Proceed, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Leader of the de facto opposition in the legislature, Francois Rogers. The DA is saddened by the death and destruction, by the extreme weather, and we hope that those who have suffered loss and trauma will be able to find comfort and be able to rebuild their lives. I'm also standing here honoring the memory of yet another member of the LGBTIQ community that was murdered on Freedom Day in eThekwini. Honorable Chair, as you know, I'm new in this committee after some changes in Umgeni, and it was very much my intention to be conciliatory in this debate. But then the April floods happened, and the clear leadership by the MEC for COGTA did not happen. You know, if we look at the Green Book, Vote 11, and we read the strategic outcomes of the budget of this department, we see that it is to improve municipal and traditional institutional capacity, and there this department fails. It is to improve coordination of service delivery, and there this department clearly fails. And improve institutional capacity, and there this department very obviously fails. And even if one goes to the core functions in the same document, it is dismal reading. To coordinate all organs of state to ensure maximum impact, while during the recent floods and its aftermath, we definitely did not see this happen. An interventionist approach, well, not one municipality where this department has intervened has improved, so not a passing score there. And improving coordination and outcomes-based intergovernmental relations. Chair, when the President announces R1 billion is coming our way and the MEC for Finance says it's not, then intergovernmental relations seems not to be going so well. And last night I was at a meeting addressed by the Deputy Mayor of eThekwini, and the relationship between the province and its metro seems rather shaky. The recent floods was an unprecedented event. No government could have predicted this flood coming, and the impact of the flood was much bigger than anything ever seen in KZN. But we must look at COGTA for what happened before the floods and after the floods. COGTA did not fulfill its mandate in monitoring and empowering municipalities. It is a fact that the lack of maintenance on stormwater drainage, the lack of maintenance on roads, the non-enforcement of building regulations, and the near collapse of disaster services in many municipalities increase the impact of the floods on our people. And these failures must be laid before COGTA. I want to give a specific example, Chairperson, Ladysmith. During COGTA oversight a few months ago, we were all late to the meeting due to flooding in the town. And it became clear that the municipality was failing in maintaining the systems put in place to prevent such flooding. And this town is often flooded, but COGTA did not intervene, and more than once, every time it rains, there's floods in Ladysmith. So whilst we cannot blame the floods on government, the impact could have been less if we had a functional and capable municipalities. And then there is the aftermath of the flood, Chairperson. And here our current MEC failed spectacularly. No clear leadership, no clear central disaster management center that was giving direction and assistance, a slowness in the response, and up to now, large parts of Ugu and eThekwini is without water, and the electricity network is still very unstable. But we are not getting any clear direction from COGTA on what is going to be done about this. To the Honourable MEC, the people of Tongaat are looking to this government for leadership, for assistance, for water. The Premier can attest to that. And I think the people of Tongaat turn to the Premier as he knows how to get a water tanker. But still, many of their questions remained unanswered. Whilst there were some shining lights, the eThekwini Deputy Mayor at least was active and on the ground and visible. For the most part, the ANC local government leaders were shining in their absence. We know that this House will be reconvening very shortly to debate and vote on adjustment budgets as to make money available to deal with the flood damage. And I want to urge the MEC to make sure that part of the budget is spent on improving and setting up a much more efficient disaster response plan and working with municipalities to improve their disaster response capabilities. With global climate change being part of our lives, natural disasters like this will happen more often, and we need to be better prepared. It is fast becoming a new core function of COGTA. And not only municipalities, the department should also work on capacity building with our traditional leaderships in the province so that all areas under the authority of traditional leaders also have plans in place and traditional authorities are capacitated to deal with disasters like these. Chairperson, the core function of this department, if we get right down to it, is to make sure that our municipalities and traditional authorities are functional. And this budget should speak to that. But of 54 municipalities, over 30 is in financial distress, 9 are under some form of administration, and with this 9, we are not seeing improvement. The Premier in his SOPA said that there is improvement to be seen in our provincial capital. Now, I know many of these official grand government vehicles have tinted windows, but the Premier's window seems to be rose-tinted if he drives through Maritzburg and thinks it's improving. The budget we will approve in this House becomes irrelevant if it does not improve the functioning of our municipalities. It becomes irrelevant if it does not lead to an improvement in service delivery. It becomes irrelevant if it does not improve the lives of all citizens of KwaZulu-Natal. We did oversight as a committee regarding the borehole program. And whilst there were hiccups, I congratulate the department as this is an example of real intervention leading to real change. But Chair, this budget we approve needs also to be prioritized in such a way to ensure the water master plan becomes a reality. The people of Ugu are crying to the MEC, crying to the Premier, crying to this legislature for their constitutional right to water to be restored. In this very House, a former MEC for COGTA tore up a petition in this regard years ago, instead of listening and helping. And the problem has gotten worse. Just last night, I received an email, Chairperson, from a resident of Ugu. It reads, "Please, can you assist? This is now day 13 without water. Please let your mind absorb that it is 13 days with no water. I would like you guys to come and live here with no water. Please, 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 we are old age pensioners. This is a crime against humanity. This takes away any dignity we had. Please, can somebody sort this problem out?" The people are crying out, and the money allocated in the budget is not nearly enough. This matter has become a ball being kicked between the national provincial governments. It affects people of all ages, all races, all social classes, all areas of the district. And this budget is failing them. Let me end my first bite on a positive note, Chairperson. The DA is happy to see the budget provides for the planned filling of 170 vacant posts, as mentioned. The department has sufficient growth to fill all vacant posts and has budgeted for 1.5% pay progression over the MTEF. It is critical that these posts be filled, as the department is currently short-staffed due to the many deaths and resignations and retirements.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank
Your
you,
time
Chairperson.
is up. The next member from EFF to participate in the debate is Honorable M. Twala. However, we have received the apology that they are not going to be participating in the debate. Therefore, we afford from the ANC for 9 minutes, Honorable M.A. Zulu. Makeba, the platform is yours. Dabezit.
Honorable Chair, members of the legislature, media present, senior managers, MEC and HOD. Greetings. Honorable Chair, let me begin my debate by congratulating our MEC for the wonderful work that they've done since COVID era, whereby they were on toes each and every day as a department, ensuring that the people received the better service since it was a lockdown. Mhlawumbe umuntu akakuqondisa MEC ungaziqhubeke ukuthi siyaxakeka uma Honorable Mayor ethi you were not visible during the flood in eThekwini. Sizoqonda ukuthi Mr. Mayor wayebuka iTV enye hayi lesa siyibuka thina, whereby we've seen MEC day in day out, and he was supposed to attend the hearings at the department, but he was not here attending the issues of floods in Durban. Mr. Mayor, you will know the truth next time, and we should speak the truth. Okay. We have seen the disasters teams working tirelessly in ensuring that the people receive the assistance they deserve with the minimum resource the department have. And also, we need to congratulate the department for filling the post of DDG, Mr. Katete, who is currently serving within the department, who will ensure that municipalities are governed correctly. Honorable Chairperson and members of the legislature, I will be focusing mainly to the human resource matters and vacancies within the Department of COGTA. Of course, there are 4 areas of good governance which enhances good governance within the department. It is the skill development, performance management, and some of the disciplinary processes. The department has prioritized a rollout of skill development in line with the Skill Development Act and National Development Plan, thus creating capable public service through National School of Governance, NSG. And this program is online in assisting the senior managers and the staff of COGTA and other municipalities currently. This rollout plan also will have a major role in enabling the department to assist the municipality in fulfilling their mandate of creating a developmental local government through District Development Model, DDM. We are aware of also the Provincial Human Resource Strategy, Chair, which also assists in informing policies of the departments and municipalities. COGTA is always on par with that one. This will also assist, furthermore, let me applaud the MEC for lifting the moratorium of the recruitment of the CDWs, which are community development workers within the province. This will not only assist in alleviating the poverty in these communities, but it will also assist our councillors in ensuring that they deliver correctly in their wards. The absorption of the contractual employees who have served the department within the department for 7 years, as the MEC has just mentioned, is a milestone indeed. And processes that were due were followed correctly by human resource. On the same note, the availability of expanded public works program budget, which was 1,993 million, and we are also aware that the department also has further, will access also 5,9 million to make sure that the same program of EPWP is entrenched. COGTA also has took a very proactive stance of recruiting people living with disability in various parts of the sub-directorate within the department. This has also provided them, the department has also provided them with the tools of trade. I know of the lady, Ms. Manana, who has just obtained a master's degree in COGTA. Is one of the disabled workers within the department, and he has also been given all the tools of trade. Honorable Chair, also let me thank the department for extending the youth program of internship that were distributed to various municipalities. We know, and it's a conduct, MEC Uguchi, we extended it because of the COVID challenges, and abantwana abakwazi ngithola the best experience ababeyidinga kulawo masipala abadeploye khona. And it must be known that it's more than 500 youth that are deployed or distributed go masipala through internship. The issue of vacant posts within the department cannot be overemphasized, especially now that we are entrusted with the implementation of the district development model. This will also improve the capacity of municipalities to better proactively plan and address the issues within their municipalities. This is an indication that funds are also more required to ensure that more posts are filled within the department. We also note that there was a decrease of 41,169 million in 2021-22 adjusted appropriation budget. But this was due to the non-filling of vacant posts, of course, as a result of the lengthy internal processes of the department, as well as the resignation, the deaths, and also the retirements. And we are also pleased that the slight increase of 0.85% from the 2021-2022 main appropriation budget to 2020, 22, and 2023. More than 170 posts that will be filled within the current MTEF budget. Let me applaud also the MEC for COGTA and his team for the post aiming to upscale the disaster personnel in their capacity from the posts that you have seen. The post of project officers, of course, we have seen them, and we hope that it will assist a lot in ensuring that the department responds to the community needs. Chairperson, in conclusion, we'll request the department also to look to this issue of the new tendencies of municipality currently, of secondment of municipality managers by certain municipalities. This will have a negative effect, of course. Konoyabona ukuthi ontaba kayikhonjwa bethuka nje sebewinile ngo-local government elections ukuthi awu sesiwinile sesingadeploya ke yabona ke uthatha
ngathi nahlu.
You are protected, Makebe. You are on the platform. And I don't see anything.
Angabi
against-
nochuku.
Wathinteka Lungile Mtimanda. Chairperson, on the execution of our side, as the committee, we also identify some concerns in areas that requires, of course, improvement within the department to ensure that there is a fair disciplinary processes taking place within COGTA. We have engaged with the department to those issues, and we are confident that the MEC and the senior management will address those concerns that were raised during the oversight meeting. As ANC, of course, we are fully supporting the budget that has been presented by the MEC for COGTA, Hlomuka. We thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Makeba. The next member to participate in the debate from the NFP for 3 minutes, Honorable CM Shinga, Hlomuka. The platform is yours. Incane kakhulu njalo bahlonishwa lendlu ngizama ukuthi sibe sizama ukuthi maintain nje decorum manje ngibe ngibone ngathi semhoweni so ake sibambeni nje into yakhona ithi kubambeka kahle ukuze singalimali nemedia icatch into ezwrong ngathi behave nicely. The rules allows us that we can just talk briefly in a decent way. Proceed, Honorable.
I'm actually starting, Honorable Chair. We are pleased, honorable members and all the guests. We are pleased to see the support provided by the department for the establishment of 11 district development hubs within 10 districts and eThekwini Metro to ensure that they are operational. However, the hubs were not operational as expected by the end of the third quarter of 2020-2021 due to the shift of hours placed on local government elections that were held on November 1. The same challenge affected the support provided by the department to 44 technical clusters. We call on the department to give us the feedback on the condition and functionality of the affected boreholes and the turnaround strategy to fast-track the establishment of these affected hubs. On the traditional council elections, Honorable Chair, the department paid 47 million to IEC in 2019-2020 in respect of the TC elections, which were expected to take place in February 2020, but were later postponed due to issues with Amakosi. With Amakosi, the elections did not take place. These challenges costed the department millions of rands. The full amount of 47 million was not fully recovered. The IEC only repaid 27.364 million because the IEC had already incurred administration costs. Honorable Chair, we are seriously concerned about the overspending of funds in Program 1 in respect of goods and services due to higher than anticipated costs. These include high legal fees. Legal fees costs for minor cases can be avoided by resolving disputes internally with the use of an internal mediator. These costs can take up a huge amount of the allocated budget for this program. Honorable Chair, we appeal to the department to address these challenges: water quality of head pump boreholes, low yield boreholes, and vandalism of boreholes. Fast track the municipal finance management to all the remaining 12 municipalities to reduce unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. Fast track the boreholes project, including the signing transfer letters by accounting officer and municipal manager. Give feedback on the 9 municipalities that were placed under administration, and fast track the support given to the remaining 77 traditional councils to perform their function. Sesiphetha sihlalo, siyabonga kakhulu ngomsebenzi esiubonayo ngalawo mazwi i-National Freedom Party izosupporta umsebenzi we-department. Siyabonga.
Thank you so much, Honorable Shinga. The next member from MF for 3 minutes again, Honorable Takur Rajpans. I'm sure she'll be joining us through virtual platforms.
Yes, thank you, Honorable, Honorable Senator. Honorable Ministers, it is important to appreciate Honorable MEP Hlomuka as one of those responsive MEPs with action wherever called upon. Given this comprehensive report and the current local disasters, the following observable often much widely: improved communication to residents, more coordinated disaster response. What remains lacking are strengthened government structures like rate-based organization, fast-tracking of slum clearance. Virtually should remain water and electricity prolonged outages bordering on human rights violations. What must be stopped is vulnerability of protesters in a discriminatory manner for basic human needs. Demolishing structures considered illegal without exhausting all legal means to negotiate these matters. Certain religious sentiments are intending to bulldoze a heritage temple site between Hamilton and Shenton Drive in Redwater. Honorable members, assurance has been given by officials that constitutes a temple. Honorable MEPs, can this Honorable House have a report on deadlines to clear the growing numbers of transit camps in East Kent? There are dozens improved audit outcomes by a few municipalities. This shows that we do have the political will to ensure service delivery. Other municipalities need to understand the extreme frustration of the ratepayers and start meeting deadlines to complete roadwork, revitalize city centers like East Kent, and towns like Expo. Cut potholes, cut grass, remove rubble and litter. A gap that needs inclusion in the accelerated water program must be Hlomuka. I visited the area this weekend, and residents stated that the sluice gates were open, which flooded homes, schools, and businesses with flood. Children had reached window levels. The 100-meter safety flood line for buildings and structures must be strictly implemented. Honorable AEC local government must show safe libraries for bridges. We must be serious on channelization. Dredging experts have to be employed. As areas dry up, litter that is thrown out by rivers decorate the banks. We must get all these banks clean. The plastic litter must not suffocate our river systems. We need to claim this on national treasury as a river cleanup after the progress post the flood. Housing must be done by human settlement. As local government, let's put focus on identifying land and infrastructure development. Finally, Honorable MEP, please initiate setting up a comprehensive disaster management unit in all municipalities to respond to climate change.
Thank you so much.
Civil strife and other unforeseen happenings. Always remember that typically the state government
Thank you so much, Honorable Raj. I think we had sufficient mercy on you. Thank you so much for your debate. Please, let us not dim any member's light. She had a specific chance to shine. No, thank you so much, Honorable Member. On a lighter note, Honorable Emmy Pagati from ATM for 3 minutes. We also received his apology. We therefore proceed. ANC for 11 minutes, Honorable M. Govender. I think she's also joining us through virtual platforms. The platform is yours, Honorable Govender.
However, we are a resilient continent and we shall rise.
informal economy in Harding and Burville. It will establish a Heroes Acre Park to promote social cohesion. It will construct and upgrade the stormwater infrastructure in wards 11, 12, and 13 for the Kzncogta stormwater management. It will rehabilitate the Burville Industrial Park, construct sidewalks in Burville Town, construct and install street lights and robots at Edume local municipality, and construct fire stations for the Ndwedwe local municipality. So, Honorable Chairperson, the department intends doing quite a bit to support local municipalities. Now, Honorable Chairperson, whilst KZN has been ravaged by floods, we must not forget the fact that our province has several water-challenged districts. So we therefore welcome the department's interventions in these districts and the establishment of water rooms. The department has allocated 78.7 million to provide additional technical support to Ugu Umzinyate and Kzncogta from 22 to 23 onwards for a period of 3 years. And this is going to go a long way towards ensuring an uninterrupted water supply to the local communities. The ANC also commends the department for having commenced implementation of the Provincial Electricity Master Plan, which addresses the ongoing need to support municipalities in their operations and maintenance of dilapidated energy infrastructure. 4 municipalities, namely Jozini, Abakulusi, Msunduzi, and Ndwedwe, are financially supported through this program. So, Honorable Speaker, the allocation of 359.511 million to Program 2 will be utilized well to support and stabilize the local government sphere. The ANC also welcomes the APC's announcement that COGTA will be conducting another fully fledged assessment of the state of local government in all 54 municipalities in KZN in September 2022. The results of this assessment will enable the department to work with updated credible information that will also inform its municipal support program. And, Honorable Chairperson, as we all know, updated credible information is most important. Given the dire state of some municipalities in the province, the additional funds allocated for strengthening support interventions in municipalities that have been placed under administration is a good move. Municipal support and intervention plans involving professional experts, including technical, financial, and governance champions, are currently being implemented. Honorable Speaker, the underspending of infrastructure grant funding by municipalities has long been a source of concern, particularly as unspent funds are taken away from the province and municipal grants are subsequently sacked. As part of the turnaround strategy, COGTA has established this dedicated project management unit, which is working closely with municipalities to speed up project implementation and strengthen planning systems for infrastructure projects. Honorable Chairperson, COVID-19 has had a negative impact on revenue collection in municipalities, with many municipalities being in financial distress due in part to poor and low revenue collection. And as we know from the municipal reports tabled by the ANC in the legislature, many municipalities are cash-strapped and rely almost exclusively on grants from national government. Most are also heavily in debt. So municipalities do need to be supported and scaled to become sustainable and to increase their income through improved revenue collection strategies and improved billing systems. Therefore, the department's municipal revenue and debt management sub-program that was piloted in the 2021 financial year and which is aimed at assisting municipalities to improve the accuracy and completeness of their billing systems is indeed a step in the right direction. The targeted approach to revenue collection in municipalities has already managed to reduce both consumer and government debt whilst enhancing revenue collection. Honorable Speaker, we as the African National Congress also wish to commend COGTA on its second consecutive clean audit report, as well as the traditional levies and trust account also having obtained a clean audit report. We say well done to the Honorable ANC and its team, led by the able equity.
Honorable Kzncogta, thank you so much We must acknowledge as well that your security is tight at home, so we are comfortable. And a speedy recovery to those who are not okay. No, thank you so much, honorable members. The next member to participate in the debate from SADP, Honorable S.E. Manqele for 3 minutes. We are also told we have received his apology, therefore we'll proceed to DA for 4 minutes. Honorable Hlomuka, you can come and finish your debate. Remember, you are protected, Honorable Mayor.
No, I was impressed by the language. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chair. I accidentally forgot in my first bite to congratulate the MEC on what I heard might be his last budget speech in this House. I know Congress season for the ANC is rough, so changes happen. And talking about losing, it is a bit concerning how COGTA has a track record of losing court cases. The judgment of the Zululand municipality versus COGTA is an example. The department spent millions on investigators and then had this been set aside by the court. It can't help but wonder if the department now budgets to lose cases. The MEC refers in his speech to ward committees and gives a glowing report on the establishment of ward committees and gives a stat of 98% of ward committees have been established. The MEC has an interesting view of the word established. At eThekwini, with its 111 wards, the ward committees have been elected, but not yet inducted and are not functional. The MEC also fails to mention what a mess the ward committee elections were. Chair, I would be failing in my duty if I did not come back to speaking about Msunduzi. They call this the city of choice. Well, it seems many people are choosing to rather move to Mgeni. And on that point, let me say that we would fight any move to try and swallow up Mgeni municipality into a metro of Msunduzi. The ANC tried to reverse the voters' choice like this before in Midvaal and failed and will fail again. The MEC tells us how things are improving in Msunduzi. Well, tell that to the residents who have been without water and electricity over Christmas. Tell that to the residents where electricity outages are part of their daily lives. The DA welcomes the MEC's announcement that they will invoke item 3 of the Code of Conduct for councillors. It's about time that row councillors be brought to book. I hope this action will also be taken against councillors that basically hijacked water tankers after the floods. I couldn't help but wonder who was in charge of disaster response, the MEC of COGTA or the RET faction that won the eThekwini Regional ANC Congress. The DA also welcomes the alternative sources for electricity generation that is part of the master plan. KZN is the province that is suffering the most under global climate change. And looking at alternative clean sources of energy is vital, so well done to the MEC and COGTA in including this. I see the MEC also raises the smart city again, which is going to be created in Ugu and Harry Gwala. It is going to have to be a very smart city that runs without water. We also welcome that there is focus on the murders of the Amakosi and Induna. And it is important that we include the murders of councillors in our province in this. KZN needs to move past the cycle of political violence, and the DA once again renews its call that the recommendations of the Morani report be implemented. The reality is, being the MEC of COGTA is hard. Of course, it is the one portfolio whose performance is rated by voters halfway through a term. And if we look at what voters have said to the ANC municipalities in KZN in November, then the MEC did not get a passing grade. Even in their great stronghold of eThekwini, they had to go into a desperate coalition with small parties to stay in government. But at least the Metro now has a deputy mayor that works. The people of KZN deserves better. The towns of KZN deserves better. So let's stop talking service delivery and let's start delivering. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. The next member to partake from IFP for 5 minutes, Honorable OB Kunene. Sikhumbule, Honorable members, ukuthi singaphakathi endlini protected. Let us maintain the decorum. Let us just ensure that there are people watching through virtual platforms that take our work very serious. We can talk on side matters like RT, but remember there is a decorum to be maintained. Honorable Mtimande, the platform is yours.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable MEC, the IFP wishes to know from you whether it is true, whether it is true that this department has employed an official as a director SCM who's attending a court case in the Eastern Cape province. This employee of COGTA is among those who were implicated in corruption which took place in the Eastern Cape province during the funeral of the late President Mandela. Local economic development. The IFP wishes to encourage the department that as it conducts its oversight of municipalities within this province, that it ensures that municipalities do embark upon local development programs in order to grow local economies, which will in turn yield positive results through making dent to the unemployment challenges our country is facing, and also enable residents of municipalities within our province to be able to pay for municipal services that these municipalities render. It is pleasing to note that the Honorable MEC alluded to this matter. Back to Basics program. The Honorable MEC, this department must ensure that the Back to Basics program is implemented in all municipalities within our province. Residents of many municipalities continue to complain about potholes, poor water supply, unreliable water supply in many rural parts of our province. Continued interruptions of electricity supply, refuse not being removed, light poles not working in many urban towns, dam sites being in an unpalatable state. These are the basic local government services delivery imperatives which must be perfected in all municipalities within our province so that we can look what can be done beyond these functions after the basic ones are delivered by all municipalities within our province without fail. Honorable MC, we applaud the fact that you alluded to the assassination of former Izinduna and councillors in this case, because this matter is a matter of serious concern to all of us. But it is not encouraging, though, that when 43 cases have been opened in 2012 and only 25 people are arrested, we don't know how many convictions, because you can arrest and be acquitted. But it is important to know how many convictions have occurred since the cases were opened. We support the call by the Honorable MEC that communities must assist the police with information in order to apprehend those people who are doing wrong. Clean audits. The IFP expresses the wish that there will come a time in our province where it will be a norm for all structures of government, the national, provincial, and local spheres, to utilize the financial resources they are entrusted with prudently. We express a concern that the Operation Cleanup Audit campaign was talked about in the past years, but it has not yielded the desired results. We appreciate that the Honorable MC said this morning that this department has obtained a clean audit. This must be a matter of cause, and we hope that the department will continue obtaining clean audits in years to come. Honorable MC, the IFP is concerned about the performance of ESCOM in areas which are serviced by it. This is outside the load shedding that ESCOM implements from time to time. We don't know how far this matter has been handled by the department since it was raised in the portfolio committee. The unreliable electricity supply has a negative impact on service delivery, as we all know. We will continue, Honorable Chairperson, to exercise the oversight role over the department together with other parties represented in this House in order to ensure that the aspirations of the citizens of our province get the services that they deserve. The IFP supports the budget. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Mtimande, for those words. The last member to partake in sweeping the debate from the ANC for 13 minutes is Honorable Kzncogta. Mpazima, the platform is yours. Honorable Tsele is the chairperson of this portfolio, so she ought to protect all the members of the portfolio committee. The platform is yours, Lengamandla.
Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much for allowing us to partake in this debate, and would want to remind this august house that global warming cannot be looked at as a thing that might be with us in the next century. It is now with us. We have to face it head on. We must develop mechanisms to mitigate its negative impacts. The disasters of 2019 and 2020 were a warning to us that the worst was coming. Indeed, in April 2022, came and left a trail of destruction with huge loss of human lives and property. The April floods will go down in history as the one which imposed the most unparalleled loss of lives and huge destruction to infrastructure and properties such as roads, bridges, schools, homes, and cut off the necessities such as water and electricity. Indeed, President Ramaphosa was correct to describe them as a catastrophe. Honorable Chairperson, this is not the time to fold our arms and despair, but to work hard to find the way forward on how we will minimize damages and loss of lives. The first thing to do is to ensure legislative compliance in district and local municipalities, including the Metro, of course, with regard to disaster management, fire and rescue services. Disaster management is listed in Schedule 4A of the Constitution as a concurrent competence of national and provincial legislative authority. Section 29 of the Disaster Management Act number 57 of 2002 calls for the establishment of the provincial disaster management centers. KZN, to those who don't live here, is having a fully functional center at Mkondeni in Pietermaritzburg. The objective of the center is to promote integrated and coordinated system of disaster management in the whole province. The Act puts emphasis on prevention and mitigation of disasters. Honorable Chairperson, Schedule 4, Part B of the Constitution states clearly that fire and rescue services are the function of local government working concurrently with the other two spheres of government. Act number 99 of 1987 states that the provincial disaster management centers are responsible for administration of fire brigade services in the province. Province must therefore provide support to municipalities to establish the fire and rescue services. Before continuing with my debate, I think we would need to raise the following points. One of these points is that politicizing the April 2022 floods for cheap political point scoring is regrettable. We want those who don't live in our province to know that more than 400 people perished through these floods, and over 60 of our people are still missing. And want to indicate to Honorable Mayor that MECs and the Premier and the whole cabinet, as well as the President and ministers, were all over rendering assistance. We don't know whether he expects the COGTA MEC to report his whereabouts on a daily basis to him. I think he has to be granted. Ourselves who were linking up with him, we could not even finish our engagements with him because we wanted to find some ways of rendering support. But he was cut off because he was driving in the most dangerous areas. He would come back in the evening to us, returning our calls. Because this honorable member does not live in KwaZulu-Natal, the water tanker matter was resolved between the Premier and the association of that community where he lives. That's why a joint statement was given by both sides. What I would need to do is to get his email address and then send him that statement as was released by both parties. Then it is very sad because this honorable member does not live in our province to indicate that eThekwini did not do anything to resolve. We are residents of eThekwini. We want you to understand that in almost all communities of eThekwini, water supply and electricity were cut off. We lived for not less than 5 days personally, living in Pinetown without both of those necessities. And I couldn't go and see my family at B section in Umlazi because the bridge was washed away. What is important for you to understand is that eThekwini rebuilt that bridge within a week. These are the things, because you don't live with us, you don't know. No failure for him to recognize the positive changes that are taking place in Msunduzi indicates that he flies in here to debate and then go away. To my honorable member that I respect so much, Mtimande, would want to give you assurance that the issue of TC secretaries has been responded to several times by the department. You yourself raised it 3 times, including the engagement between your portfolio committee and the finance portfolio committee. The finance portfolio committee assured you that the matter would be raised with the National Treasury on the 20th of April, 2022. Indeed, it was. And the National Treasury promised to investigate the matter because are the issues of budget. So I wanted to leave it there. So, honorable members, as we have indicated that disaster management centers are all over our province. 8 municipalities, including our metro, are having the fully functional disaster management centers. Why that is because they are doing it in line with Section 43 of the Disaster Management Act number 16 of 2015. COGTA, the very same COGTA is leading. In the 4th and the 5th Parliament, targeted the building, the construction of such, and then that's why they are there in place. So we would want also to indicate that the previous COGTA Portfolio Committee, the newly appointed chairperson of COGTA, visited some of them, including the one in my own constituency, Kzncogta, based in Hluhluwe, little town, where I come from. So as I've indicated, 8 of them are functional. If there are challenges of functionality, they might be related to the failure of the municipality to do what is necessary. What is necessary? COGTA gave them the grant to construct them. Then the question of maintenance and other things was left to them as their responsibility. So this is what I wanted people to know about this working KwaZulu-Natal COGTA department. Honorable Chairperson, having mentioned 8, I want you that my research led me to something very scary. I spent the whole weekend researching around the functionality of the so-called district disaster management centers. I want to declare here, based on information, that still now, the notorious Zululand district still does not have the disaster management center. The question is, where do they operate? Information told me that they operate from the Ulundi airport. That's what information told me. But over and above that, there is a very important structure that you need to know, which is the District Coordinating Forum. This district, up to the time I researched by Sunday, before writing out my speech yesterday, that forum is not there. It's a very important forum in terms of the law. Then we want to talk about Umzinyati Center. This center too remains incomplete. I hope I'll be contradicted by the department, because I based my research out of the skills when I was doing my senior degree. I was very fortunate to do the research during my first senior degree. It was indicated as such. And it has got some challenges, honorable members, in relation to the fire stations, personnel, equipment, and vehicles. That's what my research led me to. Then I conclude by Amajuba. Amajuba only built the first phase. What is the problem about Amajuba is that the 11.5 million, which is the very same COGTA released to them, was not spent in full in phase 1. I am told that there is a hullabaloo around the question of the return of 1.7 million rand, which Tuban is demanding. But having said all that, Honorable Chairperson, we want to declare that we support the budget unconditionally as a movement of our people.
Right on time, Honorable Nkosi. Thank you so much. That was the last member to participate in this progressive debate of COGTA for 11. The next member to participate is the MEC himself, who has 15 minutes to respond. Honorable MEC. Yeah, one is capable of chairing in this platform nicely and need no further assistance. We are in charge. Nicely so. Honorable MEC, you have 15 minutes of your time.
No, thank you again, Chair. Let's start by appreciating all the inputs made in this August House. We have noted all the inputs, be it positive or negative, because it is important that we accept people's views and we learn from that, and we're able to incorporate those views that we think is going to ensure that we fast-track the service delivery to our people as the province of KwaZulu-Natal, led by the Premier Zikalala. I think maybe building from the last point raised by Honorable Nkosi, who tried to respond on the comments or questions raised by the honorable members on the issue of district development, district disaster centers. The Honorable Nkosi is correct to say only 2 districts that have not completed their disaster management center, which is Umzinyati. If you go to Umzinyati at Titandi, you will see the building there incomplete and was still waiting for a report because ngathi imali iyadleka lapha emhlonishwa emtimandi. Manje angithi masuthi sesibaba ophuzo sesuye ecourt sokuthi senze into wrong.
Manenza wrong phela bazonichitha icala mhlonishwa.
Oh, siyabonga. But that's why that's why in our commitments we're still going to ensure that that center is completed because we have an interest of our people in KwaZulu-Natal. Irrespective, we'll have parallel process while we investigate, but we complete the center so that people of Umzinyati and people of Amajuba bakwazi ukuthi babe secured, babe ne center qhubeke ke phambili. Let me respond on the issue of intervention. Omasipala laba under section 139 1B. Honorable Mayor and Honorable Temande. I'm not sure if Honorable Mayor is saying there is no progress in municipalities that are under section 139 or in municipalities as a whole. That means you are disagreeing with Auditor General, because in terms of the outcome from the Auditor General, it tells us that there is a progress, there is an improvement. That's why we indicated that there is no regress, but there is only a progress. That shows that there is something that the government as a whole, because as COGTA, we are working with all sector departments to ensure that a provincial government led by the Prima assists the municipality. But it's not only COGTA that assists municipalities. That's why the Constitution of Republic, Section 154 says a provincial and a national government must support local government. Not only COGTA, ours is need to only coordinate the intervention and the support to municipalities. So that's why it's important that honorable members, they will at least listen. I understand that listening is an art and it's a skill. It's a matter of ensuring that which one you want, or you want both, or we decide to go to UNGTATI. Look, let me make an example with municipalities that are under Section 139. It's not true that provincial government COGTA lose all cases in court. Let me make an example with Mtubatuba. In Mtubatuba, there's only one matter that we have lost on the basis that we have never even given opportunity to present our case. We are contesting that matter. That's why the councillors of Mtubatuba, they decided to just yeah, that's why they make an example. Then after that, they go to Kzncogta district and they started the process of petitioning a speaker, of which it was correct, to say, can you convene a meeting? Then the speaker, and they didn't send a letter to a speaker. They sent a letter to a municipal manager, of which that is wrong. In terms, because a speaker is the one that calls meetings. Then the speaker received a letter from a municipal manager. Then the speaker responded to say, look, we are going to call the meeting. However, we're still dealing with the matters of legal from the court. Then the councillors, the coalition, that's why in our report or in our budget policy statement, we're indicating the challenge of coalition, because all political parties, they met, all of them based they're wrong. The speaker have never called any meeting. There was no notice of the meeting. They just went there and they decided to elect themselves. They know the process. If the speaker don't call the meeting as a first step, you write another letter to a municipal manager. If the municipal manager don't respond to your letter, you then write a letter to an MEC for COGTA. We've done it. We've corrected the ANC councillors at Umvoti when they wanted to do the shortcuts they have done at Kzncogta. We said, look, follow the process. If the speaker don't call the meeting, write to a MM. If the MM don't call the meeting, write to an MEC. Then we'll take it from there. Because it's important that we stick to the rules of the game. That's why I'm shocked if Honorable Mayor is saying let's continue with invoking a code of conduct, because DA is the one that are going to say, why are you doing this, protecting your councillors who are doing wrong things at the municipal level. So there are many things that esingayisho umasipala section under 139 or 1B. I don't want to talk about Zululand. Look, Zululand, you know deep down your heart. And even the mayor himself knows. Actually, on Friday, when I attended the SALCA workshop, PEC SALCA workshop, we agreed with the chairperson of SALCA to say these councillors, they are doing wrong things. That's why we agreed that as I will go to some of the municipalities, I want to go with him. I want to go with him as an MEC and the chair of SALCA, so that he will understand the wrong things that they are doing. And he knows, because now if you are a chair of SALCA, the positions does not allow you to play politics. You need to stick to the rules. I think those are the decisions that we've agreed with the chair of SALCA. The matter of Zululand, or the court order from Zululand, sometimes you ask yourself, but how come a judge can take a decision? Look, the judge is saying, when you do section, that's why maybe I'm saying maybe a judge failed to understand Systems Act. Yeah, but at least I'm not a judge, but at least I understand the process. But at least I understand the process. That's why I was explaining the process of calling the meeting.
Is it better than a judge?
No.
MEC, you are protected. Honorable Demande, you had a fair chance, and you understand the rules of this house, even the convention. Please don't break them. Let us afford the MEC. Let us afford an MEC to articulate what he knows best, COGTA. And
I'm saying, in terms of Section 106 of the Systems Act, that's what we're using. We're using what is written in the Systems Act, that an MEC for COGTA have powers to investigate. Now, you know the process of investigating. Now, the judge is saying, if you investigate, use KZN Commissions Act. You know what does that mean? It means if I want If the department want to investigate a municipality, you must call them like in a commission. You do it as a public. Now, the question will be, why it must be only a COGTA not following the investigation process? Because SIU, they investigate, they don't do the commission. Hawks, they investigate, they don't do the commission, they don't follow the commission act. From where we are seated, because that's why we are challenging, we are going to challenge the decision. Remember, that's why there are processes to appeal. And sometimes we'll find that the decision of the judge will be overturned by another judge. That means it happened that the judge might be wrong on his or her analysis or whatever tools that applied. I think most of the issues, but colleagues, I think the issue of TC secretaries. Look, TC secretaries, they are not employed by government. I think that's the first thing. They are not employed by the government, they are employed by Amakosi. When we had a meeting with them, we said, look, we don't have a problem, we have already costed, and it will need a provincial government 53 million annually. And we've engaged National Treasurer to say, look, we want to recruit these TC secretaries, but when we recruit them, we are going to have an open process, open recruitment process. You know why we are saying that? Some of these TC secretaries, they don't qualify. Mzala, inganeka indaba ezitsha, we have told them if they have agreed, and we have even engaged with the Amako to say, I remember when we had a meeting at Zululand, where all Amakos they were there. I said, you might fight for TC secretaries to be getting more than what they are getting. When we recruit them, rest assured, some of them, they won't come back. And don't invite us to do that. And they said, no, let's close this matter. We'll see it at the other time. Because they know that some of the TC, not all of them, some of them really, they are secretaries, but they can't even type. And as we speak, as we appreciate that we have received clean audit, they have taken a decision to say they are not going to give us the cash book or cash receipt, and that might affect our audit process. But there is a way that we are dealing with it, because we want to ensure that we account for any cent and we're able to receive a clean audit. We are not going to celebrate like Mzinyati Mayor, who celebrated to receive qualified audit outcome, because we understand what does that mean to receive a qualified audit outcome. But we're going to make sure that we account for all sense as approval where is this house. I think the issue of killing of Amakosi, we have noted it. We are going to, in the portfolio committee, give details ukuthi bangakasebeboshiwe ikuphi process yakhona. But I thought we must give a high level report rather than go in details ukuthi obani nobani because of sensitivity yama matters. Honorable Mayor,
Summarize, Honorable MEC.
I'm not sure ukuthi, look, we are coordinating disaster management. From the inception of disaster, we've been meeting every day. That's why yesterday we were able to submit a detailed, a costed report to National, and we are meeting with National to ensure that they're able to give us a relevant grant if they are going to give us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. We also want to thank you profusely for the role that you have played, how you conducted yourself and each presentation. I think it has been productive. We are going to break till 1 o'clock. We come back for vote 9. We also hope that as the chairperson, we were objective enough. We're not partaking in the debate. I hope we're not nodding. I hope we're not laughing, because the chairperson must preside and be objective. So I think from time to time I would have smiled, because I'm not even wearing a mask, so you would have seen that. It was just that, because I'm a mere mortal as well. But that's on a lighter note, honorable members. Let us meet at 1 o'clock, then we are done. Thank you so much, honorable MEC COGTA, with your collective for that job. You must also join us for lunch. Thank you so much.